Before this episode starts, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Graham's Windows and Doors at grahamswindowsanddoors.co.uk, Yeovil's very best provider of windows, doors, conservatories, everything you need to make your house a home. That's new. I had that in. That's good, isn't it? I should go into marketing. Graham's Windows and Doors are Yeovil's very best provider of windows, doors and conservatories. They have some great deals. Get yourself to grahamswindowsanddoors.co.uk. And as always, James, Sherelle, we're so grateful that you're sponsoring us. We really appreciate it. But now, on with the show. Welcome to the Steve Calis Show. I'm Steve Calis, and I'm joined by my fiance, the lovely Meicha Burney. Hi, baby. Are you okay?
Hello. Yes, I am. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Bit poorly still. But
Bit run down, But then you have been ill for
3
consecutively
years.
for
That's what we were going to say.
yeah, you've been ill consecutively for our entire relationship.
I was ill the last podcast we did as well.
Yeah, you and Leo between you, there's no white blood, there's no white cells, no immune system there, is there?
Nothing.
So
no matter how much I try, I do try.
I know you're always popping vitamins, popping vitamins, eating healthily. This body's never had a vitamin or a vegetable.
Yeah, it doesn't even know what a vegetable is. I made homemade soup last week with like about 11 vegetables in, and it's obviously worked.
Well, what I say, imagine how ill you'd be without those.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
But why are you never ill?
Clinging to life. My body's just used to existing in a state of unwellness. You know what I mean? I haven't actually felt healthy for about 25 years, so I operate on a
just as the same level.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm sort of always ill, but I'm used to it. Maybe that's what it is. So we got some things to talk about because we want to talk about some of our experiences lately that some parents might find useful and interesting, because we've been on something of a journey, haven't we, with Leo?
Yeah.
But first, to limber up, to warm up a little bit, what would you say is our best quality as a couple, as fiancés, engaged to be wed?
As couples, or would you say?
Taking a long time.
No.
Oh no, this is what I'm doing.
No, like as a couple, or as a couple, parents that are a couple.
Good distinction. First, as a couple, between us, what do you think is our best quality, and then we'll go on to as parents.
Just our understanding and affection, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Very affectionate. Yeah, I think so. It's nice, isn't it? It's nice because
You soppy git.
I was always self-conscious to be too affectionate, especially in like a previous relationship where it was very sort of hands-off and not very intimate or affectionate at all.
Yeah.
And then I've always wanted to love someone a particular way, and I'm very like, I've got urges and compulsions. I just want to grab you and squeeze you and totally love you and be weird and be unusual. And it's horrible to go 20 odd years having to fight those things.
Not
You don't want to come
doing
across as weird.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, we fall in love, and I can just be unusual and affectionate and passionate, and it's a gift.
It's not that you can be unusual. You just are.
Oh. You actually weren't unusual.
Yeah, I haven't okayed that.
Oh, I see. I've misread that horribly.
Yeah.
What about as parents? What do you think our best strength is as parents?
Just coping. I think that we have no other choice almost. Everything we've sort of been through with and Leo. But yeah, we have coped, and we do cope. Yeah. Somehow.
Yeah, we get through it, don't we? Because sometimes, we have we've had bad days, haven't we? We've had bad days and bad nights. But I think what makes me comfortable with us always is that, just like I always say to you, no matter how bad the day has been, no matter how long, no matter how many hours at the hospital, or how severe the days have been, we always end up in bed together. Our feet are touching. I'm reading, and you're on your phone. Or I always say to you, we always come back here.
Yeah.
No matter how severe the day has been, even if we've argued or fallen out, we always end up
we're always fine.
there.
Yeah, I think that helps.
It's like drawing a circle around our bed or around our relationship and going, but we'll return here.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, as long as we're back here, and we always end up back together at the end of the day, happy and cuddling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a strength of ours, to be able to brush off the bollocks of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't you think?
We're allowed to have a moan, but I do think we have we have just coped with. It's just been us two. Do you know what I mean?
I slept
Against
last
everything
night,
that's
but
been
in
thrown
fucking
at us.
well, we have done well there because we have survived. But it's because I think it helps that we're experienced in relationships now. My age sometimes helps. I
Yeah.
think me because I'm much calmer now than I was. I'm much more able to go, all right, it's not. She doesn't mean that, or this isn't on purpose, or you shouldn't have said that. You were stupid. Like to me, saying, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done. And,
You're stupid.
Yeah, I can rationalize, and I can reach a place of peace much quicker.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I'd drag arguments out maybe.
Yeah.
But we're good at communicating. I think is the thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Even when we're bad at communicating because we're tired or stressed,
It's still like
we're still okay.
Well, I'm not going to ignore you. Even though you're
that's
annoying.
Right. Yeah. We always get to a place that's sort of okay, don't we? But I was thinking about last night and how fucking annoying you and Leo both were last night. I was trying to get some sleep, and Leo was, having his like nightmares or whatever. He's kicking off every 2 minutes in his sleep, arguing with someone in his sleep,
Just shouting.
You're coughing every 3 minutes. And the coughing I could deal with, but it's when you get really angry that you're coughing, and you think I'm going, fucking hell, I can't fucking sleep.
Just sat on the edge of the bed like fuming.
You do lose your mind.
Yeah, because I'm going, I literally haven't slept in about a year.
Yeah.
Like, apart from our odd lie-in weekends, which normally one of us is always working, so we don't get that, or... Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just was just like, let me fucking sleep.
But I get the same. I get there's times where we haven't slept for days properly, and I've just been like going mad. I just want to kill someone or.
That's
just
how I
throw
feel.
something.
I'm worse in the night and mornings, whereas you're better, but you're almost worse in the day.
Yeah.
And I've sort of once I've had some water, I've literally got out of bed.
Yeah, you
to
snap
get
back to life,
up.
don't
Then
you? Very good
I'm
at that.
almost better like that, which is fine because it's a good thing. It's not like we're both horrendous at
Yeah.
night, like I am, or in the day,
Like me.
like you are. So
Yeah,
it kind of
true.
evens out. It's probably actually a good thing.
Yeah, see, good team. So, I was messaging my brother Sam to try and arrange to see my niece this morning, and I left him a voice note saying, sorry, mate, it's been the last few months have been stressful with Leah's operation. And then after, when we were talking, when I got home.
I went, it was exactly a month ago today.
Yeah, it was 1 month ago.
You were like, that was just a month.
it was
like,
only a month.
yeah.
It feels like it's dragged on for months, this whole saga.
Yeah.
So let's explain what we've been enduring.
Okay.
And it's been tough. We know there's people who have it tougher with kids with really serious illnesses and people,
course.
but this has just been our trial and our tribulation.
And since it was November, December last year, so 2023, that he started the tonsillitis. So it's not like it's just the last month. It's been like nearly a whole year.
Yeah.
Apart from a few months this year where we've had sort of a bit of respite, but it's been constant.
Yeah, that tonsillitis is a killer, isn't it? At the beginning, so exactly a month ago, you took Leo to get his tonsillectomy.
Yeah.
Is that right? Because I had to work, couldn't get out of it, or got stuck in it at the weekend.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was the actual tonsillectomy like? Like getting there in the morning, what was that like?
It was fine. It was on a Saturday morning, so thank God, obviously Jem came, which I didn't
That's
know.
Misha's sister, Gemma.
Yeah, Leo's auntie, Jem. I didn't know that would be like a saving grace at the time because I was like, it'll be all right. Just, come and see us after because it was Dorchester Hospital, obviously, that we went to have it done. And yeah, I didn't think that I needed anyone, but it turned out I did, sort of. So he was we got there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then he was sort of first in queue out of 3 or 4 kids, I think, on the ward. Because he was the youngest. Obviously, he's only 3. I think the rest of the kids were like 5, 6, sort of onwards. Yeah. And immediately they put like numbing cream on his hands, on the inner sort of corners of his arms. He immediately hated that.
Kicking off right from the start.
Just kicking off. Hated it. And he was all confused, and they put like little plasters on, like obviously to cover the cream, and he was kicking off about that. And it was just like, oh God, it's not even like have got a cannula in or anything like that yet. So I was just like, oh my God. But he was like okay at the same time, sort of quite distracted. Luckily sort of Jem was there and like playing with him. And then I think about 45 minutes later, once the numbing cream had kicked in, they sort of said, okay, it's time to sort of take him down. Jem had to sort of stay outside the operating theatre. But they actually took me and Leo inside the operating theatre, which I was quite shocked by. So I was immediately a bit like, oh, like this is the room that they're going to do it in. And then even though it's not like the worst operation, it is quite a big operation for a small 3-year-old that, even though he's not small, his mouth is quite small for that age.
Yeah.
So it was quite like daunting. I thought, oh my God, like I'm going to be leaving in a minute and they're going to be operating on my child.
Yeah.
So yeah, they then got him to sort of sit on my lap and put his legs around me, arms around me. No, arms under my arm, sorry. So I sort of had to hold his kind of back of his head and his body into me as they were trying to cannulate his hand, which some children obviously are fine with, but our child was not.
Yeah.
And they also just couldn't find like his veins.
Which would be an
at
issue
all.
that popped up a few days later as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, it was awful. So it took a good, like, probably 4 minutes to just, like, me on my own. And you know what it's like now after you having to hold him down.
He's the single strongest human on earth, isn't he?
It's so, like, yeah, it's actually crazy. So, yeah, I had to hold him down. They were just like, you need to keep him still. And I was like, it's just me versus my Avengers child here. Like, how am I supposed to hold him down? So obviously I eventually did, but he was just like fighting and fighting. It was really sad. So then he was sort of, and what's really horrible, he was sort of, as you experienced in the end, sort of saying, "You're not my best friend. Get off me, mama."
I know, it's
And I was just
horrible,
like, "It's okay," sort of like, "It's not okay," but just holding him like, into me and like pinning him down, which was horrible to be like, "Calm down, like it's okay," blah blah. Trying to sort of distract him. In the end, they sort of noticed that he was just not having any of it. So one nurse was like, "What does he like?" And I was like, "Sorry?" Like, whilst he was screaming, and she was trying to get her phone out of like YouTube, and I was like, "It's a bit too late for that." Like, he's just kicking off. So yeah, they eventually got the cannula in the hand, and then they sort of brought him round to the side of me and sort of was facing that way with his legs over there, but his arm was still under my arm, so I had to still sort of pin him down and hold him down. Yeah, it was just like he was sort of sat like this in the end. Then they eventually said, right, the cannula's in now, but we're gonna obviously do the what's the word?
Jumanja.
Flim flam.
Jumanja. Flim flam.
What's the word?
Garibaldi.
Anesthetic.
Anesthetic.
Jesus. So yeah, they put the anesthetic in, and I think that was the worst bit for me because like I was massively crying already, sort of just without showing it, sort of thing. It was just like my tears were just flowing, and then and I was sort of like, no one was really saying much. Obviously, he was like distressed, so they were trying to just hurry up. And I was just like, what is happening? Then yeah, they obviously then put the anesthetic in, and he just like flopped and like went limp in my arms, and I was a bit like, oh, it was horrible. And then they were like, okay, mum, like, come, you need to go now, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, so I had to like hand my like limp child over to like a nurse, and it was really horrible. And I was like, oh, didn't expect sort of it to be as traumatizing as that. And then, yeah, I sort of got up and like they took him off me. And then I sort of looked back because I was like really shaking and like crying. I was like, that was so horrible. And then the lady was like, I know, it's okay. Like my child like had an operation. I know it's like so horrible. And then I sort of turned round stupidly, and he was just like led on the operating sort of table. Yeah, just like sedated kind of thing. So I was like, oh my God, like why did I do that? But I just didn't want to not look back after that whole sort of few minutes with him. It's like horrendous. So then I went like through 2 or 3 different like corridors to then get back out, and Jem was like pacing up and down, like I could hear him, after like through all of those sort of rooms and stuff, and I was like, okay, I need some oxygen. I need to go outside.
But as far as we know, but so at that point, so then he gets the surgery, tonsils removed, and that's okay for a few days. So I have to go through the normal rigmarole.
Yeah, once he woke up sort of half an hour after, he had a lolly toast, which is so weird considering he had his tonsils out.
That's the thing now where historically they would just advise cold things or soft things, but now they recommend having toast and stuff to scrape away the dead cells where the tonsils used to be.
Yeah, just let it heal sort of better.
So we were doing that. But so if we skip forward then a few days.
Yeah, so 6 days later on the Friday.
6 days later he starts coughing, doesn't he? Or for a couple of days he's complained of a bad belly.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday
and we're trying to figure out what it was. We were a bit worried, weren't we? But we couldn't. There was nothing wrong. He did have temperature.
I phoned Dorset's hospital as well that afternoon, sort of once she went back to work, because that's when Dad took him to the train station, and he just couldn't be excited by the trains because he was just screaming in pain with his belly. So Dad obviously rang me and was like, are you home? You know, took him back home. I was like, what's going on with that? So I rang Dorchester Hospital and they said sort of like, that's not normal after a tonsillectomy because it's like nowhere near where the operation was. But I said, do you think it's like shit diet? Like, you know, he's eating, yes, he's eating toast and like dairy dunkers. But
we thought maybe he'd have a bad belly because he had a lot of dairy. He's had a lot of like just shite food.
Yeah, ice
he's used
cream,
to eating very healthily. Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe a bit of like wind or indigestion or something. But later that night, we put him to bed and he's coughing a lot. And we go in there. We go to bed.
He wasn't coughing though, was he? Remember, he was just like complaining. He was sort of stirring and complaining because he hadn't coughed by that time. That was like this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he was coughing much. It was just like sort of moaning about his.
Yeah. And then he started.
So you went up, didn't you?
Yeah, and then he started bringing up little bits of blood into a.
Started spitting out like just fresh.
That's
like,
right,
red
dribbling
blood.
it out, wasn't he?
It was
obviously blood coming up. So we thought, oh Christ, let's get him to the hospital. So we took him to the hospital. We were there for a while. We're there a lot that we just sort of hang out now, don't we?
It's just our like playground. So we triage, weren't we? About 5-10 minutes in at the most, because obviously there was loads of people there, weren't there, outside, and we were like, oh God, we're going to be here forever.
But actually, they got us through relatively quick.
Probably emergency.
When we were in there being triaged, he was sick, but he just threw up
it was nearly a pint of just pure blood. And he was throwing up so much.
Blood bits. It was
coming out of his nose.
I thought his brain had hemorrhaged.
Yeah.
I was holding him at the time, wasn't I?
Yeah. You were sort of holding the bowl and him, and I was sat sort of.
It was one of the worst moments of my life. I just thought his brain's exploded.
Our faces must have been like, just horrible. Like, you know, looking at each other like, what is happening to our child?
We looked in panic at the sort of nurse.
Yeah.
But they're sort of chilled about that. They see everything, didn't they?
She just said, I remember saying, she was like, it's okay, he needs to get it out. And we were like, but why? Like, what is this? It's nothing to do with the little thing that you had on the back of his throat. You know
and so then we waited around for a while. Then they recommended we go to Dorchester for the ENT. It's just the children's sort of area there. That's where the ENT people are.
Yeah,
ear, nose, and throat people.
Yeah.
And you got the Kingfisher ward there. It was great. So we got all the way there.
Yeah.
We ended up spending the next 2 days. 3 days
12
there.
at night that was as well.
Yeah, this is
on a Friday night.
Go away there. It was a weird sort of sense of adventure because he was okay after he'd thrown up.
Yeah.
Like he got all that shit out of his belly.
He's definitely better.
But something was still wrong.
Yeah.
And so we spent the next few days, the entire weekend, wasn't it, in Dorchester Hospital.
Yeah, till Sunday night. Because
they thought maybe he had lesions on his throat, an infection, because he was so poorly. And they gave him, in the end, antibiotics, and and that was slowly okay. And then we had some, the week. Do you have any more that you want to talk about that part of the Dorchester Hospital part? Because it was long.
Well, yeah, it was just like that Friday night. Obviously, was just confusing, and they didn't really know what was going on. But he sort of seemed okay-ish. And then Saturday, like even you couldn't pin him down. About 7 people tried to cannulate him.
Was ridiculously strong.
Yeah,
but then I don't blame him for resisting it because
you're going to find your strength somewhere, aren't you?
Yeah.
Being like, get off.
They just kept stabbing him, and they couldn't. Yeah, with a needle, not with a knife.
With no numbing cream in the end anywhere.
Because they couldn't. It's like you. They couldn't find veins, and it was just like torture. In the end, when the last guy was, he's holding down his tongue, trying to look at his throat, I was going, all right, that's enough. Just
because looking in a child's throat and them sort of gagging is like bad enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's like, no more. Let alone like, there must have been at least 5 or 6 people that like tried
to pin him down, trying to inject him.
Yeah, it was just horrendous.
Yeah, it was just a nightmare. I remember, like, weirdly, I always try and like.
You always see the positive out of it, don't you? They have a lovely little
play
play area, didn't they?
Me and him had a nice little nap, cuddling up in the play area. All the other parents trying to play must be like, can you still fuck off a minute?
Yeah, you just led on this like melting beanbag thing that was really comfortable.
Yeah, nice. But the staff were decent, to be fair. It was okay, wasn't it? Very long.
And he was nil by mouth, so he couldn't eat because they thought they didn't know what happened, did they? For the like about 12 hours, I swear, sort of Friday to Saturday afternoon. Figured out it was an infection finally. Then they had to inject antibiotics in his thighs, into his muscles.
Oh yeah,
and that was horrendous.
Yeah, I had to at the same time.
At the same time,
one on each leg.
And then he went up, didn't he? Which we were like, oh, in pain. So then the needle came out, and then they had to put it back in. It
was crazy strong.
He just went through so much.
Yeah, he did, and he was so brave and lovely, but he's always all right. What was it that fucking broke my heart? What did he say?
Oh, you said Saturday night.
Oh, because after he'd been tortured all day by these people trying to fucking stick him in
and
the
he
needle.
finally had a bit of yogurt, didn't he? Because they said, okay, we probably won't operate again.
Miserable. We were all miserable. It was the longest we've been there since 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
And so it was now the evening on the next day. And then I was like, man, I'm so sorry for this. This must be horrible. You've had a really bad day, haven't you? And he goes, no, I've had a nice day because I got to be with you and Mama. So he was just happy that we were all together.
And it was just literally could have not have been any worse for him. Obviously, it could have, but you know what I mean. Like it was literally horrific.
And it's hard to explain to him what's
write
happening.
it.
He's very switched on, so you can say, Leah, the reason we're doing this is because of this. And he's good like that, to be fair.
And he just was like, no. And we had to say enough's enough. Like twice, didn't we? Like give him a break. So they were like, okay, we'll come back in 20 minutes to try and cannulate him again. And we were just like, okay.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. And then then that happened, and we're dealing with that for even the next week or two because it's still healing and getting over it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Then we suffered some personal crises. We won't go into on here, but there were some serious personal dilemmas. And then, which was a nightmare, but it's sort of private, but it was a nightmare. And that's all. And it doesn't seem like much.
Oh, no, then Monday just gone. So it's, what day is it today? Monday again.
Monday, yeah.
So last Monday, 7 days ago. So this was 2 weeks ago, what we just talked about. Yeah. But last Monday, he then developed a cough.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And we were like...
He got ill.
Why is he fucking coughing?
Some kind of cold or flu, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was sick.
And then he was like doing the sucking in, like breathing thing in the middle of his chest.
Oh, we're talking to the doctors, didn't we?
Talking to the doctors.
Christ.
We thought he had a chest infection. He didn't sound too concerned, but he said he could get worse. So if he does, definitely bring him back. Because I'm happy to see him. And we were like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Like he didn't even have a week without
he was kicking off about even
seeing
going
a
to
doctor.
the pharmacist, wasn't he? He hated being in the pharmacy.
Yeah, he didn't even let them listen to his heartbeat properly for quite a while.
Yeah, so that was all good. Yeah, so that's
He's traumatised, isn't he, from that?
This month had his tonsillectomy, the ensuing infection, personal crisis. Leo got the flu. Then you were poorly. And I've been fucking exhausted.
We haven't slept.
Yeah, we haven't slept. It's just been like it just felt like it's been going on for months. This whole thing, because then when you're that sort of stressed and sleep deprived, your sort of work life suffers a little bit because you're not concentrating.
Yeah.
And I arranged and did the Joe Exotic episode, which is a big thing for the podcast.
Yeah.
There was just a hell of a lot going on.
Oh, and in between that as well, I don't even know which weekend it was, to be honest. And normally I'm really good at dates and times and stuff. But then you had to stay on a Sunday night at work till 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. So I did a lot of extra hours.
Things like that.
I was
it's
always
just
at work
like,
a lot while this
what
was
the
going
hell?
on.
You've got like two jobs and a podcast. It's just been wild.
Manic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah. But I think I just haven't done anything. I've just wanted to sleep all day today, and I've had 2 solid naps. I think because yesterday we were cozied up, like we said at the start of the episode. We got onto the sofa this time. We sat next to each other on the sofa, eating some lunch, watching Friends under a blanket, and I started to just relax.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's going to be my motto from now on. Just don't relax.
No, you've got to. You got to enjoy the 1 or 2 quiet moments.
But then I suddenly did that and thought, okay, everything is fine in my life.
Yeah.
Bam. Probably a chest infection that I didn't get sorted.
Right, yeah, I see.
Same as you.
Yeah.
Like.
But then I think it's worth the relaxation,
yeah.
and then getting back into fight mode to tackle whatever's wrong with him or whatever's wrong with whatever other personal issues we're facing. And, but we always end up okay, and that's our strength. We're like rubber. You know what I mean? We always bounce back.
We'll always be fine.
Yeah.
And there's exciting things ahead. Isn't there? So,
there is exciting things. Yeah, exciting changes, and so we're all okay. But that was essentially the crux of the last month. We've been dealing with this tonsillitis thing for a year and a half, whatever it is. It's been a fucking nightmare. But now the tonsils are gone. I said on the podcast that we recorded a couple of days after tonsillectomy, I was like, I just want to punch the tonsils into the table or throw them into the ocean. Do you know what I mean? Just
can you jar them for us so we can burn them? Or
every now and then, just hit them with a lighter.
I also just realised that I said at the start of the episode that it's been a year. It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
How did I get that so wrong? Yeah, because he's 3.5 now. He was a year and a half when the tonsillitis started. Yeah. Just before Christmas it was. So 2 years ago.
And parents,
November.
Parents, if you're dealing with tonsillitis, recurring tonsillitis, we know.
Yeah.
We know. It's grim.
I'm here for you.
So this was our story of how we dealt with that and the tonsillectomy, because it's just a tremendous ball ache, wasn't it? So,
yeah, it was.
One of our strength is that not only do we communicate well and we love each other, but we afford each other the space to do whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and because the podcast is not just my ambition and my dream; it's also a way for me to put all my mental illness there, so it doesn't
Here it
quite,
is.
so it doesn't quite, it
Yeah.
doesn't affect anything other aspect of my life as much, because I can pull my anxiety and depression, and sadness and worries and fears and stuff here.
That's true.
And I feel better about it.
You haven't really sort of, apart from hangovers, you haven't been anxious or
God,
like.
do you remember that last hangover I had?
Yeah.
I'm digger, wasn't
I
it?
don't even know what to do. Normally, I'm really good with that sort of thing.
I had the worst anxiety you've ever seen. I was like shaking, wasn't I? I couldn't, all day I couldn't
Yeah,
focus.
it's like, just breathe.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
It was the worst I've ever felt. The worst anxiety ever. Yeah, it's fucking dreadful. All right, well, listen, Angel, I love you. I love you very much. I'm very glad
Where's my
that
voice
you.
then?
I'm very glad. I'm glad that we had this sort of time to do this together. I love talking to you on the show.
Me too.
It's nice. What's my most annoying quality?
Right.
Scroll.
Yeah. Oh.
Go on. It's okay. Clothes on the floor.
Your mess. So he knows, but doesn't do anything about it.
But my argument is this.
He just goes, Bruce Almighty, lights candles. I've always made a joke about it. Why have you Bruce Almighty'd on the floor?
Well,
it's just your clothes
I'd
everywhere.
like to finally put defence up in my name.
There's literally no defence to
You
do
are
that.
you are a littler lady.
So I'm
okay.
short. I'm
You're
closer to the ground.
closer to the floor.
Nice.
For me, I'm 6'1". The floor is all the way down there. I risk pulling my back out if I get too low to the ground.
Yeah, but the irony is the washing basket's about this high, so you're closer to it than I am.
Yes, well, I wish it was that easy. Anyway, moving on.
I can't complain if that's the only really annoying thing about you.
I bet there's other annoying things.
Not really.
Eating all the peanut butter.
No, we could just buy it. No,
that's
allowing
nice.
me to buy some peanut butter would be better. Apart
Yeah, but it's like crap.
apart from on your terms.
Yeah, but it has to be, otherwise I eat
But
so
no.
much and I get.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing. It's just you are messy,
You're messy as well.
clothes wise.
Yeah, but you shedding hair all over the place, like living with a.
I can't help it. I've
living
got
with
a
a
thick
golden
mane
retriever.
that's not going to be thick soon because it's on the floor.
It's like living with a German
Yeah.
Shepherd.
Every time I touch it, I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, but then, what are your annoying qualities?
Yeah,
You don't have any.
well, it's got an S on the end. You said you asked for
qualities.
one.
Yeah. Well, you're 10 or 11
How many
annoying qualities.
yeah, how many annoying
But to be
ones?
fair, you're lovely to live with. You know, you're placid and nice and calm and
is that
organised and
because we
relaxed.
can see the floor?
Through matted hair, yeah. When you lift up the rug of head hair, there is a carpet under there.
Yeah. What is an annoying quality of mine?
Um,
I'm gonna have one at least.
annoying quality of yours: grumpy when you first wake up. Grumpy, not all the time.
Which you experience 1 or 2 mornings out of 7 because you're never there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but
Or is it work?
and if you get disturbed at night, or
Coughing.
the one example, the one thing is where I'll go to bed late, say anytime between sort of 11 and 1, and you're asleep. And I'll always say, I'll sleep downstairs, babe, or I'll sleep in the garage or whatever. And you go, no, come to bed so we can have a cuddle or whatever. And I go, okay. So I'll come upstairs and you're asleep. I'll get into bed and go give you a cuddle, and you get annoyed and moan at me for waking you up.
Or I think I've talked to you in the morning or night, and I'm like,
Do you
remember that thing? And then you're going, you didn't speak to me. Like my alarm went off. I
There's
got
two
up.
things where
I'm
you
like,
go,
what?
do you remember what I was telling you this morning? And I'll go, no, you didn't say any of that.
That's really weird. I
You
must look at you
hallucinated.
like 99% asleep. Just
you
think
imagined you said all those things. On the other night, I was so annoyed because you were getting so annoyed because you woke up just speaking tongues. You were going, and I was going,
it. Yeah.
going,
And do you know what? I knew I was talking gibberish, so I was just like,
yeah, because you got no
nothing.
you got no yourself. And you went, oh, nothing.
just.
And let it go back to
I
sleep.
must have just been like so tired or something. I've never done that
This
in
is
my
what I
life.
saw. I got into I was in bed and he disturbed us, didn't he? I think Leo stirred.
Yeah.
And then you woke up and
Life.
you sat up and I was sort of semi stood up to go and deal with him and go put him back to sleep.
And I just talked
And
gibberish
started,
at you.
You started doing it. how much? And I went, sorry,
Another Bruce Almighty thing.
Because I was also asleep. Yeah, I was also asleep, so I thought maybe I'm mishearing you. So I said, "What did you say, babe?" And he was,
I said it like 2 or 3 times, didn't I? And then I just went, nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Got pissed off and led back down.
Oh yeah, I don't know what was going on because I just remember going, and I even couldn't move properly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right. Should have phoned an ambulance.
Yeah, well, actually, what you had was a stroke.
Yeah,
and so we
just
should
had
have
a
dealt
mini
with it.
stroke and no one's noticed apart from like my language. Yeah, I turned around and was a bit like went to do something.
That was an annoying thing. Or when, that's it. Because my thing is I'm bad tempered in the morning. I'm fine in the mornings, but very quick to temper. I don't like to talk. I don't like to be strained. So if someone's moaning at me first thing in the morning or asking me to do something, not you, work, whatever, that's I'm very tunnel vision there. I want to get from A to B and come back and see my family. And
Leave
I'm
me
okay
alone.
then. Yeah, I have to have sort of caffeine and a cig and I'll be all right then. But until that minute, I'm sort of sat on the edge of the bed.
Every now and then I've
morning.
gone, are you all right?
No, I'm sat on the bed. Like, what's that meme with the dog? Like,
It's a fox.
Yeah.
Where it's just got his like legs crossed and
Every
it's
morning I'm sat on the bed like that fucking fox meme, just trying to find.
It looks more
live.
traumatized than tired though, so that's kind of you. Yeah, you have to put the picture up.
I'll put it out. Yeah, but yeah, that's what it's like. But no, you're an angel. You're lovely to live with. I lucked out. Do you know, I always think like, when people talk about winning the lottery and what you get from it, I always feel like I already have won the lottery because I'm just like, oh man, I tripped out about this. Remember the lamp story thing?
Yes,
There's an
don't
episode
trip
about
yourself
this.
out again.
No, but I had a sort of mini panic attack about this because things seem too perfect. Because I'm so in love with you. I'm so in love with Leo. We've got such a good relationship, and you make me
Everything's
so
fine
happy.
apart from you two. Everything's fine apart from like the illness, stress. If you know what I mean. Everything else is fine. Like we're fine with
we got
home relationships.
we
like
got very
Leo's
lucky.
happy.
We got very lucky, and we met each other at the exact right time in our lives to really appreciate each other, to appreciate each other's qualities, to be a partnership. I always feel like we're a good team. We're a good
team.
And I just feel like I lucked out. I just know I won't win the lottery because the rest has already gone. Well, here's Meicha. She's gonna save your life, make it 1,000,000 times better, make you glad not only to be alive, but that you gives you a new sense of life and just changes you for the better from the core in. And then Leo comes along and it changes what you think love is, doesn't it? Having a kid, the protectiveness, the defensiveness, but the sheer unbelievable love. And then he starts, he turns 3 and starts playing Pokemon, becomes obsessed with it. So this is what tripped me out, was because I spent all day playing Pokemon on the Switch with my son, and he's good at it.
And then we sit down with ice cream and watch Friends in the evening,
Which is my favourite TV show.
He's asleep, and you're like,
I'm like, oh my god,
this is
couldn't
too
be,
okay.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier, which is why I'm always okay, because I love you so much and everything's good.
I love you.
I know you do. That's good. Well, yeah. Well, anyways, that's a little insight into
Let's
our
not make people feel any more sick than they probably already do.
Yes, vom. I don't care. I love you. I'll tell the world. But I always come home drunk, don't I? And you go, how's your night? And I always go,
I just told all my mates about you. And I'm like, what about me? They know
drunk.
me. They know me. I'm basically their friend too.
Yeah. I just got drunk and told everyone
I just
how much
tell
I love you.
everyone I love you. I was like, they don't need to hear it for like 5 years straight, every night out.
But I do appreciate you, especially drunk me. Drunk me loves you.
I know. I want to do the Somerset Festival again.
Somerset Fest, yeah.
Somerset Fest, because that was like
nice, wasn't
it was nice. Even though I turned up obviously late, but just to be with. I don't think we've ever been in that group of friends. Like there are friends.
It was a random group, wasn't it?
But like we kind of put everyone together, and it was just I don't know. It was just really nice, and it's nice to be out with friends with you because. When the hell does that happen?
Yeah.
It's always individually out.
But that's because
with our own friends.
Yeah, that's because one of us always has to be with Leo because we're not rich in babysitters, but we're a good night out together, aren't we?
Yeah,
we always have.
I
I don't think we've ever had an argument on night out, have we? We just don't.
No.
We always we relax. We're like two best mates on night out, getting pissed up, doing some dancing.
The only argument we've probably ever had is stop dancing like a twat and Neo.
No, never going to happen.
So I go, okay, he's not going to stop, so I'll just record him instead.
That's funny. There's so many videos now of me really
Just solo
giving it
dancing.
some around you, and I always go, "Why don't you dance with me?"
I'm going, look at you.
Yeah, 'cause I like to use. Great dancers will say, "Use the space,"
And you definitely
and
do
I
that.
use the space. Whereas you're like, you do your little cool dance, and that, and I go. And I'll use the entirety of the
Annoying.
dance floor.
So annoying.
And the next day I'll go. I remember last time I was like,
Oh, I remember we were dancing together. I'm like,
we weren't dancing
no.
together.
If anything, I'm stood by a bouncer going, look at him,
Yeah.
videoing you, and you're
Yeah,
just
kick
like,
him out.
dance to Rihanna.
Yeah. Oh, my umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like being dragged by the umbrella.
Yeah. My first memory of that with Tom was like me and Tom. I woke up one morning in the old flat when one of my best mates, Tom, and I was like, man, last night was great. People were cheering and celebrating. I was really dancing really well. And Michael
I
Jackson
believe
moves.
that.
People were buzzing. The girls were feeling me. It was like amazing. He goes, watch this video. And it was me steaming, walking over the dance floor. One girl retreated away from me, hopped over the barrier to
You're
get
like,
away from me.
hey,
And I was going, hey. It's like wasted. But I'd hallucinated that everyone was enjoying it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. Crazy world. Well,
You're very
listen,
happy drunk.
I'm a very happy drunk.
I can't imagine. We don't really argue anyway. If we do, we're just like, fuck off. And that's kind of about it.
Moany. Yeah, I've always,
But
I'm not always at all, but for the last few years, I've been a happy drunk. I wouldn't, it's because I've still managed to keep the voice in my head. The voice of,
voice?
His name's Martin. Martin tells me to hurt people.
I probably wouldn't put that bit in.
Martin tells me people have been bad.
That sounds so weird through the headphones.
The voice in my head. Yeah, but I always manage to keep some sober me in there.
Yeah.
Going, all right.
Yeah,
you're
I've
a bit
always
pissed
had
up
that.
now.
Yeah, sober
you're
me, come
rambling.
on.
Yeah, you're rambling. Get home now. Yeah, that sort of sensible voice
Yeah.
still. But you have to cultivate that. It's not automatic. I never had that when I was a
Yeah.
teenager. You know what I mean? So,
That's a long time ago.
yeah. What, when I was a teenager? Oh, that's hurtful. Listen,
Hurtful words.
Meicha, Bernie, thank you so much. I love you very much. Thank you for being on the Steve Calis show. I really
okay.
appreciate it.
Love you too.
Listener, please consider going to Spotify, clicking the follow button, leaving us a 5-star review. Those things are key to my happiness. I mean,
And my wealth.
yeah, our future. And but it's key to the success of the show. So please click follow and subscribe and leave us a 5-star review on Spotify. I really appreciate it. That's all from us. I've been Steve Calis. She's been Meicha Bernie. And I will see you next episode where it's me, Kev, George, and Lissy talking about the Tiger King episode and doing a little debrief. So I'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Ciao, 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 ciao.
Ciao, ciao.